Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Brother Not Brother. And in today's video, another episode of...
What are you...
Whoa, wait. Kelby's the one with a smoker, not me. All I got is this oven. So, I'm craving some sticky and delicious barbecue. And I don't have a smoker. So I'm just gonna make do with what I got, which is this beautiful Frigidaire oven. And it's not sponsored. We are gonna be making my ribs recipe. This is fairly flexible, and it basically just covers the important points for making ribs for me. So yesterday I started by drying off the rack of ribs and then trimming off all the excess fat. And then if you want like a full rack of ribs like this is, you can leave it as is after trimming, or you can trim it down even more and give yourself a St. Louis style ribs just by cutting here and down here. And then all of those trimmings save it. This section right here, this is the best for making things like carnitas. Like the best carnitas I've ever had were made using that section of meat. Otherwise, I save all that. I actually put it in a glass bowl lined with tin foil, and then we're gonna cook that right alongside the ribs at the exact same time, the exact same way. Once you've trimmed it down to the size that you want, I'm doing a full rack of spare ribs today, but you can trim it down to a St. Louis style. I've done those in the past before. Now what you wanna do is a light sauce. A lot of people say you need to use mustard on this. You can't taste the mustard. No, you really can't. In that case, why use mustard? Why not just use barbecue sauce? And that's what I do. I use my favorite barbecue sauce, which is Sweet Baby Ray's, like the original barbecue sauce. But I've also used their brown sugar sauce. I've used just any other barbecue sauce. I'll put that on there, just a real thin layer though, real thin, and then we'll season it. Season all sides, sauce all sides, and then we're gonna let it rest overnight. Now, look, this is where I probably differ from a lot of like the barbecue guys. If you don't have time, you didn't plan ahead enough to let this rest overnight, let it rest for 2 hours if you can. Otherwise, we're just gonna continue from here. You don't have to. It will make a difference in the flavor, but it's not the end of the world. These are still gonna be delicious ribs. I've now let mine rest overnight, and this is what we have. We have a beautiful giant rack of ribs. They have sucked in a lot of that sauce. The seasoning is on the outside. And now we're ready to do our last steps, which is going to be wrap it with 2 layers of tin foil and then throw it in the oven at 225 degrees for 4 hours. And I'm sure a lot of you folks are probably thinking the same thing, but ribs are so expensive. Let me just tell you, if you don't shop at Walmart, you go to your local grocery store and just keep an eye on your meat department. I actually got these for, I can even show you here, $8.92. That's right, I bought this whole rack of ribs for less than $9. And then I'll actually curl over the sides to seal all that in, and then we do it again. And then like I said, all those trimmings, put them in a glass bowl, season and rest and sauce the exact same way. And I mix brown sugar in with the seasoning. So whatever seasoning you want to use, I recommend adding some brown sugar to it. It adds a little bit of sweet and stickiness to it that I think ribs really need. And then you can see here, we got our trimmings here. Usually this is a little full because I'll trim this down to just like a St. Louis rack, but we're doing a full spare rib rack here. So that is gonna stay the way it is. We got just a little bit of drippings, and then again, we'll just button all up our thing here, and that will bake alongside our ribs, 225 for 4 hours. Let's go ahead and load it up. While this is baking, let's go ahead and make the sauce that we're going to put on top after that 4 hours. So I'm going to start with a base of barbecue sauce here. And then we go ahead and add some brown sugar. This is about 1/3 to 1/2 cup of brown sugar. You probably used about 1/4 cup on that first round seasoning it, but we'll add about 1/3 to 1/2 cup of brown sugar here. I'm gonna add a little bit more barbecue sauce. This is This is actually was a discount one that I got from the store, so it's not actually a barbecue sauce. It's basically every sauce that I have left over, like when it's just that little bit left, I just mix it into here, like barbecue sauce, or like if I have a couple of fire sauce packets from Taco Bell, mix it right in. So this is gonna be a blended sauce per se, but it'll add some flavor. I'm gonna add in my last little bit of Montreal steak seasoning. I prefer the Grill Mates Montreal steak seasoning. A little bit more barbecue sauce. And we can just mix all that up. Using your own seasonings and spices and barbecue sauces of choice, you can make this as spicy or not spicy as you want. This will give us a real thick sauce. It's now been 4 hours. It's time to pull it out, and we're gonna go ahead and sauce it up. And on this step, it'd probably be a good idea to have a pan. It'd probably be good to have a pan as a liner to catch all of the drippings as you're opening this guy up, because it likely will have, or at least we hope it has, some drippings here. And I can already see them coming out. You can see them right there. The little trimmings and drippings are really good to shred up and put inside of things like tacos and whatnot. So now is the tricky part of draining. So I drained all my drippings off of this into my trimmings basket here. And I had a rib already fallen loose, and now we get to sauce it. One tool that's useful but not required, a brush here. You can just slather that on. Actually, we want to start on the bottom of this guy. So now we gotta carefully, hopefully because we've only done it for 4 hours, it's not overdone and not falling apart yet. This is our brown sugar and barbecue sauce. We're just gonna lather this on there and spread it all over. You want this to be everywhere. Yes, it's thick. Flip this guy over here. There we go. Now we got it flipped over. It's time to slather the rest on the other side here. We will save a little bit for our trimmings pack, but just gonna layer this on here, make it sticky and delicious. All right, and now we're on to our final step. Now that it's been completely slathered with barbecue sauce, sweetness, and whatnot, we're gonna put this back in the oven at 350 degrees, and we're gonna cook it basically until all of the barbecue sauce becomes sticky. Now, I understand it's already sticky, but when I'm talking about sticky, I'm talking you tap it and it actually comes off and sticks to your finger rather than, you know, there's a little bit here, but I'm talking like you get like a layer of sticky stuck to your finger. Oh, it tastes good. This is gonna be a good batch. I might give this one just a couple more minutes because I want to see this bubbling all over. You can see over here it's not bubbling like it is down here. Maybe it's just because I layered a little bit more on this side than that, but let's go ahead and give it a quick test here. Oh yeah. Perfect. Alright. After being in there for about 45 minutes, it's looking good. Times like this is when it'd be good to have some like 24-inch commercial kitchen tongs to grab this guy off, because this is a big boy. See if I can get my other tongs under here without shredding it. These are pretty tender, I can tell already. Oh, but it's holding together. And there we go. Tender enough that a couple of the bones have already fallen out of the ribs. Alright, to give us the best looking and the cleanest picture we can, we're gonna cut a couple of ribs off of this baby to try for ourselves. They're so tender, the bone just falls right out. Which, for some people really love when the bone just falls right off. I want it to stick on the bone a little more, so I'd say these are a little bit overdone, but like over here is a little less overdone, so I think these might be perfect, but this end seems to be, because it is thinner too, a little bit more overdone. But boy oh boy, at what point am I gonna be able to hold it? It's so hot. I just want to eat it right now. I'm licking my fingers. This sauce. The Montreal steak seasoning and that sweet baby rays. My fingers can't take it, but my fork can. And this guy, the bone already fell out, so look at that guy. I gotta get some in my mouth. I just got to. A little bit more peppery and spicy than last time I made it. I may have put more of my Montreal steak seasoning on this one than normal. All those things can vary, can change things, but it's real good. Got some spice to it. Ooh, buddy. Got a little bit of bone in that piece. All right, you guys. So, oh, buddy. Look at how juicy that is. Come on. That's what I want to see. Because it still holds on the bone. But as soon as you bite it off, there ain't nothing holding it on. Oh, buddy. Ribs like this right here is how you get to look like me. Fat people like me get a taste of these ribs, and I could sit down. If there's a whole rack of these in front of me, I could probably eat them. And it's gonna take all of my self-control to not eat these if I decide not to. I haven't made that decision yet. But that's my recipe for homemade baked ribs covered in barbecue sauce. I've heard people hate on the whole statement of these are barbecue ribs because they have barbecue sauce on them, but they weren't made on a barbecue. I don't know, man. These are pretty dang good ribs. They aren't smoky like you might get off of a smoker. And one day I would love to have a smoker to cook these ribs on, but as of today, this recipe, it's hard to ruin it. Like, I actually even miss steps, and these are still delicious. Like, I forgot to put the barbecue sauce on when I was doing the marinade for overnight, so it was just seasoning straight on the meat, which works, but it's not as sweet and sticky. You'll get much more of you'll get a different flavor. And I think the meat would still have turned out delicious as this is, but I enjoy it more with more sweetness and barbecue sauce on it. So, like I said before, you start by just drying, trimming it, adding a light layer of sauce, then season the whole thing, and then rest overnight. Top it with a little bit of butter before you wrap it up in tin foil and throw it in the oven. I forgot the butter too. Still turned out good, but butter does help to disperse the flavors a little bit more when it is in the oven, from what I understand. I don't actually know, but I've just been told to add butter, and so I always did that. Threw it in the oven for 4 hours at 225 degrees Fahrenheit. One way to keep this end from cooking faster than this end is when you put it in the foil and stuff, push this end in so that it kind of squishes up and it becomes a little bit thicker. That can help, but it's not necessary, obviously. Like, they are just fall off the bone is the only problem. Like, it's not like an overcooked steak that's gonna be hard and chewy. This just continues to melt down and fall apart as you cook it more. Then after the 4 hours, you'll unwrap it, put another layer of your barbecue sauce, brown sugar, and I added a little more seasoning, which may have also added to the pepperiness of this one. I typically don't use more seasoning in that step, but I just did a barbecue sauce. I usually do barbecue sauce and brown sugar layer, and then threw that in the oven, 350 for between 38 minutes and an hour, but it's until it's sticky, and not just like a little bit of stick, but like I want to see like a whole layer come off of it sticky. And then after that, 30 minutes, 45 to an hour, however long it's gonna take to get your ribs to the doneness you want on the top, they're ready. You know, you wanna let them rest so that, you know, one, you can handle them, and two, because they're delicious and you want the juices to get re-sucked into it. After that, they're ready to dig in and devour. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish, I'm gonna save a little bit for the misses. Other than that, I'm gonna devour the rest of this, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We're gonna have all of our social media right here in this corner, but you can also check out videos here and here if you're on YouTube. We'll got that subscribe button, and then check out the recommended video right there. If you got suggestions for my barbecue recipe or anything else that you wanna see us do in these videos, let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next video.